probably Jonathan.
So where are you going to put the answers? How are you going to, okay. Hi.
Hi.
You're on camera. Smile, you're on camera.
Just pretend it's not there.
Okay, the first one from Shar is describe a typical school day when you were in 6th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade. Who were your teachers, and what were your extracurricular activities? And how long did you spend doing homework?
Trying to get better light.
Well, around there.
Well, I've got to tell you, I'm not bragging, but I was a smart kid. Unfortunately, I was too smart. So they left me alone. Stanford, now, you know, I'm going to be very frank. Stanford was studying these smart kids. And so I can remember the principal of the elementary school standing by me, just for watching my reaction until my mother put a stop to it. Now, why did my mother put a stop to it? Because I had a twin brother. And she didn't want a separation there. She didn't want a big difference there. I thought that was a very good thing to do. Yeah, I wasn't aware of it at the time.
How old? When was this? How old were you?
I was in 6th grade. I was 11 and 12. It was 11. And I can remember the principal standing right over there. My hand was, oh, I loved school. I loved school.
Was your twin not as smart as you?
Now, you see, that's an interesting question. He didn't get my grades, but, you know, we all have our brains and interests in different ways. And, right, I would be at the head of the class, and my twin brother was at the bottom, frankly. This caused a problem because our birthday is January. And when we started school, you could start in the middle of the year. You could start in February. But then when we finished 3rd grade, you had to skip a half year to start 4th grade in September, or you had to stay and repeat that last year. Now, this was Azusa, and a small little community, and everybody knew the Austin twins. It was, for me, it was nothing to skip the grade. For my brother John, he shouldn't have done it. But keep the twins together. You could do that in a small community. And it was hard on him. I remember I had to help him with spelling, and you know, it wasn't that he did all right later on, but in a different way. Okay, question number 2.
Where did you live in Reno?
316 Flint Street. How about that? 306 Flint Street. I lived in an apartment. And, okay, what else?
And what was life like during those years?
Oh,
Those were war years.
I know. Yeah. I started there as this is my small claim to fame. I was the first trained children's librarian in the state of Nevada. Realizing, of course, that at that time Las Vegas was a cow town. And, you know, there wasn't any, air conditioning was rare, hard to come by. And I was hired by the trustees of the Washoe County Public Library, who, up until that time, pretty much as with other libraries, hired little old ladies who needed jobs as a result of the Depression. Now, some of these little old ladies were pretty good, but the trustees decided that they wanted to get professionally trained librarians, and the place they had to go for it was, of course, University of California, Berkeley. So I was hired as a children's librarian, and that lasted about 2 months. And my boss decided, rather than wait to be drafted, he also was from Berkeley, that he was going to volunteer and get a commission. So I can remember this so well. I said, who's going to take your place? He looked at me and says, you are. I was 24 at the time.
Your boss at Reno,
Reno. So here was this kid from California, none of which was really satisfactory as far as Reno was concerned, taking over the Washoe County Public Library.
So they actually had the head of the library and a children's library at that library.
At that time, yeah, I was hired as a children's librarian. And later on, I had to hire a children's librarian. See, this was the war, and this is hard. These jobs were hard to come by. And there were people like that were in demand.
Were you on rations?
They were.
Were you on rations? Like
We
stockings
were.
and food?
You had to have for shoes, yeah. Now, the coast, California, you had to have rations for sugar, and you had to have rations for shoes.
So tell me that story about your shoes that you wore for your wedding.
You had to have rations for them, and the only shoes I could get were black. So I wasn't married in white. I was married I went to Lord & Taylor's in New York, and I got a cherry red dress, black shoes, and a black hat. I think that'll be a picture of me somewhere with that.
But you got a red dress because you couldn't get white shoes.
Yeah, I couldn't get white shoes.
How
That was okay.
Do you remember your first date with Pop?
Well, see, he was a conscientious objector in Reno, along with Sam Lake, who was at Broadmead. And so I knew him. Now, see, he was under the impression, and it takes a Marylander to be under the impression that the reason I came to Baltimore was because he was there. And that was a faulty impression. I came to work at Pratt Library.
Well, what about your first actual date with him? Do you remember a first date with him?
In Reno.
No, I didn't have a date with him in Reno.
You didn't?
No.
So you came to Baltimore and then you started dating him.
Yeah, he started, yeah, right. Yeah.
How did he
knew
propose
me.
to you?
Oh, I don't remember.
No?
I don't remember.
Did you have a crush on him in Reno?
That's a good question. There were very few young people my age. And so here was this whole group of conscientious objectors. They were all my age. And I liked them all. And it's a small world, but one of them, Sam Lake, is at Broadmead. So he's known me as long as Pop knew. Yeah, I think, okay, so I came to Baltimore, and I guess I was 26 when I came to Baltimore to work at Pratt, because Pop thought I came because he was there.